Why am I dressed like a character from Little House on the Prairie? That's a long story. But it's an extremely hot day here, and I'm starting to struggle. Not with the heat, but more with my creativity. I introduced a character quite a while ago to my Heathen series. She's supposed to be a powerful witch. She's supposed to be very, very young, from a very powerful family. And I'm really struggling to make her a more rounded character. Now, because she's supposed to be very powerful, I've made some slight errors in the continuity of the character. So, whilst she was introduced at the beginning of book two, book two ends with her, something happens. But unfortunately, I haven't quite gotten her where I want her to be yet. So I'm going to make some quick changes to book two, and then send it back to my editor. Now, this is something that you'll find where, unfortunately, your characters don't align the way you want them to, or perhaps you have continuity issues, or perhaps, an editor spots something that you didn't really think about. And that's fine, that happens all the time, but as long as you're aware of it and you act on it, because even if the manuscript is already with the editor, it helps to say, okay, can I have it back? And, work on it a bit more. There's no shame in that. You just offer to pay your editor some more money, or be careful from the start. In this case, I haven't been very careful. I haven't been very vigilant. But when I was writing, I'm working on book 3 at the moment, and it's a 7-book series, and all the books tie with each other, and I noticed quite a huge error that I made, and I have to correct it, or else it doesn't destroy everything, but it just shows a lack of attention to detail. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to work on her. The issue with working on her is that I'm trying to figure out how I can make her all powerful and all powerful, all seeing, but at the same time, remember that she's still a child. And I'm having a bit of trouble tying up those two factors together. Here's the fun part for me. Now, as a lot of you know, I prefer to do all my edits on pen and paper. I don't know why. I think because I've made so many errors with this character, I don't want to make the same mistakes again, and I find it easier to get my thoughts down on paper when I've got a pen in hand and I can actually feel what I'm doing. I feel a lot more with pen and paper. I don't know why. Perhaps someone has got a better explanation for it. But I love it, and I think my ideas flow more freely. So I'm just going to put a few notes down about this character, where I want her to go, how I want her to end up, her powers, because obviously she does have a lot of power, which makes my end to book 2 a bit strange. So there's no continuity because it doesn't make sense. So with any story, it all has to make sense, especially to the reader, and it has to contribute to the story as well, or else it leaves the readers feeling very confused and sometimes a bit pissed off. I would like to add as well that a good editor will let you know about these issues, about continuity issues, about whether a decision you've made for a character is the right decision, or whether it's something the character would do, because obviously as the editor is editing, the editor's reading through the text as well, like a reader would, and they're spotting all these little issues. If someone was an all-powerful, all-seeing wizard a few chapters ago, why is he so frail and weak now, and why can't he take on a 7-year-old boy, or why can't he do this or that? So there's certain things that readers look for, and this is what I'm trying to iron out. But a good editor will let you know these things, and if you spot these issues after you've submitted your manuscript to the editor, don't be afraid to say, I've made an error, can I have it back? But you do have to compensate your editor for any time wasted. And that's why I believe in taking your time at first and getting everything done correctly and getting all your ducks in a row, so to speak, so the script is complete and ready. Why do you disappear so much? You've become a ghost, Luca. Here, there, and everywhere. Bryn had sidled up to him as they walked through the doors. So tell me, who is this wonderful witch, warlock, or whoever you are sneaking off to see so much? They must be truly special. Luca laughed off Bryn's enthusiastic prodding into his private life. Why is it always about sneaking off for some clandestine meeting with you witches? It's nothing like that. I've been helping out a friend, a Saba, if you must know. His mother unfortunately passed away. He is extremely distraught. As Saba, distraught, Bryn wrinkled her nose as though the thought was too ridiculous to comprehend. They are the coldest creatures I've ever met. I often wonder who or where my real parents are. What happened to them? Do they think of me often? Are they still alive, or was I snatched away from them at an opportune moment? We know what these Sabas are like. Vicious, selfish. We know what these Sabas are like. Vicious, selfish, untalented creatures. I hate them all. Luca was shocked by the sudden vitriol to emerge from the normally cool, level-headed Bryn. Luca was shocked by the sudden vitriol to emerge from the normally cool-headed witch. Bryn was suddenly snarling. Her eyes were wild and her nostrils flared. He'd never seen her this way before, and he'd hoped it was the last time he ever did. Her reaction was terrifying. It would be extremely difficult to find out what happened to your parents. I know, or suspect, Rhoda was looking into Iron's past. How does a witch end up with a family who don't know of her powers? It's unconscionable. They must have been terrified when the fire started. I mean, out of their mind terrified. And I don't blame them. Death by fire is supposed to be terrifying. I would never want to experience that. So it might seem a bit unimportant, but continuity is very important for a character, for books, for every character in general. It's kind of like similar to when you watch the TV series, and maybe in one series, in one episode, a character was dying from a rare disease, and then in the next series or the next episode it's changed and they've toned down the disease quite significantly without explaining why it was toned down. So they've made the person has gone from having cancer maybe to having a tumour. I don't know if that's toned down or not, but if you know what I mean. So it's quite aggravating for whoever's watching, because why has it gone from a very severe case of cancer to a less severe case of a tumour, or like a benign tumour? So similar with books as well, and it's something I really pay attention to, because I think that a lot of people won't just write for the sake of writing. They'll just write because, oh, I just want to get the story out there, or I'm on a deadline, or my editor's expecting it, or the publishing houses are expecting it, or my agent wants it. And I completely understand that. But for me, I like continuity because it's so important, and it makes the reader less likely to put the book down. I've had very little instances in books, especially fantasy books, and although they are still fantasy, there is an element of reality in them. And I've read some books where I wouldn't delve too much into them right now, but where maybe something happened and, you know, a few pages down, something else has happened, but they've completely ignored what happened previously, like it wasn't part of the plot. And it makes me feel a bit irritated by the whole thing, because I wonder, do you think the readers are stupid? Do you think we're not paying attention? And when I read a book, I want it to be completely immersive, and I want to completely escape into that world. And quite a few books have been really good, and I've noticed quite a few bestsellers that have been lacking. And these bestsellers go through rounds and rounds of edits, and it's surprising to me that no one picks them up. Whilst, you know, you get one or two books that have very few edits and they're immaculate presentation, language, you know, the book just flows, the story flows. So it just shows that you can have as many people, as many eyes on the books as possible. And if people are not following the story properly, or if they're not reading the story like a reader would, they miss out on certain things. And that's why I'm very grateful for having beta readers as well, because when I first started in the indie market, my readers, when I first released my books, I said, look up for anything that is wrong, or anything that kicks you out of the story, because you don't want your readers getting kicked out of the story. And I said, anything that is wrong this was the Dwellers Beneath the Arches, anything that's wrong, I want to know. I'm not offended, I don't care, I want to know, because we might have missed something. And I was very glad when they came back and they said, oh no, there's nothing wrong at all, it's actually, they love the story and there was nothing wrong at all, no grammatical errors. The only issue for some of the American readers was the Dwellers Beneath the Arches was written in British English, which is the original form of the language, but that's what I learned, that's what I know, because I went to school in England. So I'm not very familiar with American spellings, I'm not familiar with American spellings. And what I didn't want to do was swap between American spellings and British spellings, so I just kept it all British, because I didn't want to confuse myself, because what you don't want is very different spellings for different things. But it wasn't too much of an issue. And the readers story, the books were bought mostly by Americans and people in the UK, and they loved it, and Germans as well, a lot of English-speaking countries. So I'm very grateful for it. But for me, it was important to finish this bit and just to add it to book 2, because I noticed that there were some glaring errors, and they would not have been apparent now by book 3. But when you went further into the series, they would become an issue, because there's certain things that the character said in book 1 and said in book 2 with regards to this new character who's coming up that I missed out on. And I wanted to maintain that continuity from one book to the next, and we didn't just pretend I never wrote about that. So for me, that's very important, because I like the way I judge the stories I read, I need to maintain that same standard. So I've written quite a bit, and I'm quite happy with what I've done, and I'm hoping that my editor will accept the edits. I just have to type them up now and I'll be all done. So I would say that my the issues I had around this character have been resolved, because I've cleared her up quite a bit, and I've planned her out a lot more vigorously than I did before, which does help a lot. So I'm really happy about that. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. Bye. Have a lovely day.